going from P4 on the grid, Vincenzo Scarpetta. And there you can see wipers going on one or two of the cars. Let's take a look at the Misano World Circuit. Marco Simoncelli then, 4.236 kilometers. 16 turns, 6 of them left, and 10 of them are right-handers. About an hour and a half from Bologna, maybe 2.25 hours from Florence, depending. But of course, we're very, very close to the sea on the Adriatic coast here in just a few minutes from Rimini, and not far away from Ancona either. Flew into Ancona once. Didn't this time, but just saying. There you can see hoods up on some of our spectators. And as you can see, wipers going on one or two of the cars now. To the best of our knowledge, all the drivers are starting on the slick tyres as we're about to go racing, but Brolly's are up as well. So I just wonder whether we are getting another one of these little showers, Nico, which could have an impact.
Yeah, it could. Race control certainly will have an eye on this. We have seen multiple safety car laps in such a situation where the safety car has stayed out longer just to ascertain the situation. We'll keep an eye on it. Here is the grid. Armin
Arapor goes from P21. P20 for Gianmarco Marzioletti, and Otto Blank is alongside P19. Then we see NM and Andrew Morrow, P18 and 17. Morrow out of position, I would say. Hanno Luskowski and James Owen go from P16 and 15. These are all AM drivers, including Nobuhiro Imada, just last weekend was racing in Suzuka, and Francesco Galli alongside him. Herbert Guys didn't finish the race yesterday. He'll want to do better today. He has Omri Assid alongside him. Then it's Mikkel Verhagen, Hendrik Viol, P10 and P9. But pole position for the AMs, Marco Zanassi. He's alongside Gilles Redmond. And then it is Quinn Wiedlisbach and Max Mugelli, P6 and P5. Vincenzo Scarpetta, who we heard from just a few moments ago, and Jasin Ferati complete the second row of the grid. But on the front row, it's Felix Herziger, yesterday's race winner, and Luigi Coluccio from pole position. And we'll see what Luigi can do from there today in fairly changeable weather conditions, I would suggest. And he is on pole position. Let's hear from him now.
Another brilliant qualifying. I'm very happy with that. This time the lap was better than the previous one. I'm still on pole, so as I said before, we are doing a great job, and let's try to bring it to the race in both races, because now we start on pole for both races.
Yes, great qualifying from Luigi Coluccio, but he's got to convert it into winning the race, and all the threatening dark clouds that you could see on that particular shot would suggest that the rain might be a little bit more persistent on this occasion, although from our commentary studio above the pit lane there where you can see the really moody sky, well, we will see. As Nico has suggested, race control will have very much an eye on that as well, and if they feel like the safety car should stay out, they will keep the safety car out. Wouldn't have suggested that's going to happen on this occasion, Nico.
No, I agree. I mean, we've seen cases where drivers dove into the pit lane right away, even before the start, and went for a change of tyre strategy. I don't think that it's well enough for that, but we will certainly keep an eye on that as well. Along with everything else, it's going to be 30 minutes plus a lap, and it's going to be a fierce one.
Fierce, fraught. I suspect you're right. It is the Ferrari Challenge. So as they in the stadium section, right now, the Richard Mills safety car will indicate left and will peel off into the pit lane, and it will be the responsibility of Luigi Coluccio and Felix Herziger to control the pace of the rolling lap. Sure enough, the Richard Mills safety car is in the pit lane. Let's get ready to go racing then. Luigi Coluccio, Felix Herziger, he must be feeling buoyed with confidence following his race win yesterday. As the lights go out, every driver is supposed to go through their grid boxes. I hope they all did before the lights went out. But Luigi Coluccio and Felix Herziger side by side. I think that's trying to make it three abreast. There was Vincenzo Scarpetta, but that was never going to be. One car I can see has gone around. You can see the pale blue colours of Herbert Guys. He's managed to get through the first sequence of turns with no strife, which is good to see. But it remains Luigi Coluccio, then Felix Herziger. Although Luigi Coluccio actually has dropped back down the order, and it is Felix Herziger that's leading as we pick up on that shot. It's Herziger from Quinn Wiedlisbach, who's had a brilliant start. Then it's Vincenzo Scarpetta. We saw him having a go around the outside. So Luigi Coluccio really being mugged right at the start. Also having been mugged at the start is our AM pole sitter, Marco Zanatti, because Mikael Verhagen is up to the lead in the AMs and up to P4 in the race overall. So when we get the race start replay, we'll be able to try and pick the bones out of what happened and what went wrong for whom and where. As Hendrik Viol puts himself right alongside Herbert Guys almost and dives to the inside. A late move to the inside on Herbert Guys. And Herbert Guys, of course, occupying at the moment P3 in the AM drivers. We ride on board with Hendrik Viol momentarily, who's dropped back behind, I think that's the Max Mugelli car, who of course is a Trofeo Pirelli driver, and Andrew Morrow's another one that's fighting his way up the order. Whoa! The conditions are difficult out there. Quinn Wiedler's back, just having a look at Felix Herziger, and very nearly lost the back end of the car. It was a good save from him as Felix Herziger P1, Quinn Wiedler's back P2, then it is Vincenzo Scarpetta, then Luigi Coluccio and Jasin Ferati. They are P4 and P5 in Pirelli.
Yeah, and Gilles Renman, I think, was the car that went around. He dropped way down the order and is P last, has caught up with the other drivers, the M drivers in front of him, and will try to move up the order. But certainly, as we get the indication that the incident in turn 1 and 2 on lap 1 is under investigation, not a huge surprise there. Everybody else still running, so at least we didn't lose any cars in the early skirmishes of this race.
No, that's a very good point. So Felix Herziger P1, beginning just to stretch his 296 legs. Instant turn 1 and 2 under investigation. That was right at the start of the race. There is Luigi Coluccio, who is now being really pursued by Jasin Ferati, driving for the Emil Frey Racing Organisation. Jasin Ferati. There is the pale blue colours of Herbert Guys, who's in a podium position at the moment because he's running P3 now. Herbert got involved through no fault of his own necessarily in skirmishes yesterday, didn't finish the race. He would love to be back on the podium once again.
Yeah, for sure. Has a different livery, but at the same time has also very much shown that he is one to reckon with, shown great speed. Didn't have the result yesterday, but he is running in a very, very good position and actually a podium position. So chasing Marcus Vanaldi, who has been by far and away the quickest of the M drivers this weekend. But it's Michael Verhagen who currently leads.
Let's get a replay of the start as Felix Herziger is P1. And who did what and where? At one point they were almost 5 abreast going into turn number 1. See if we can see it from this angle. Scarpetta was very lively at the start, Nico.
There they go into the first turn. It was Gilles Renman who lost out the most because he dropped all the way down to the end of the grid, the pack. There you can see in the middle of the picture where he went around.
Let's be on board with him right now. So you can see the raindrops on the windscreen there. And Max Mugelli to our left-hand side, you can see him. Whether he got a tug from the back or whether it's just on the painted lines, Nico, where there would be no grip afforded to any of the drivers.
There was nothing forceful anyway that we could see, and there is, I think, Andrew Morrow, is that?
Yeah, that was bold on the inside, wasn't it? But he made it stick, Nico, to be fair to him. So a number of replays there that we could see and try and, as I say, pick the bones out of the start of that race. So Quinn Wiedler's back, who was up here just a few moments ago speaking to us. He was due to join us on the air, and such a polite and delightful young man. He said, "I'm really sorry, Dave, but due to preps for this race, I don't think I'm going to be able to be with you." And therefore, I think he potentially made the right decision because he's running in P2 in this race. So well done, Quinn Wiedler's back. He, of course, raced in the 488 Challenge last year, and is in the 296s this year for sure in Trofeo Pirelli. A very talented young man, that's for sure. Max Mugelli is dropping down the order. You can see on the graphics on the left-hand side of the screen something has happened to the driver of the number 3 car. As there is Luigi Coluccio continuing to show a clean pair of heels for the moment to Jasin Ferati. It's P4 and P5, and Jasin Ferati with a fastest lap, Nico. So Jasin is lining up Luigi Coluccio here. This will be for P4 in the race. He takes a look at the inside, discretion the better part of valor, and thinks, no, I'm not going to do it there. He will psych out another place, and this is Max Mugelli then, and Max Mugelli, that was, wow, how did he avoid that car just ahead of him, which of course was the car of Herbert Guys, and a super slide, Nico. That's a slide that a stunt driver would be proud of all the way through the final turn 16.
Yeah, and we
not
didn't see it.
Way, but
no, not what Max wanted. Also impressive how he got it out for the gravel again, because really from that shot didn't look like it would be he would get it out of there, but indeed he did, and he has rejoined the race. Now obviously that means that Henrik Viol has a clean line of sight to Herbert Guys, which is good news for Henrik, not so good necessarily for Herbert Guys, who now has to fend off the attack from Henrik Viol. There is still a little bit of a gap between the two, as we can see, but and there was a car in the background who went very, very wide and maybe also into the gravel. We'll surely pick that up, and I think it was Henri Hassid. You can see dropping down the order on our timing screen.
Yeah, you're right. Right, there is Jasin Ferati, who's continuing his quest up against Luigi Coluccio. Now, the car in front of Luigi Coluccio is the car of Vincenzo Scarpetta. I beg your pardon, it's Michael Verhagen. So Michael Verhagen is not involved in the same category, because Michael Verhagen, of course, is leading in the AMS ahead of Marco Zanassi and Herbert Guys. So for Luigi Coluccio and Jasin Ferati, they need to try and get by. And you were right, Nico, well picked up. It was Henri Hassid who had a bit of a moment again, having to deploy opposite lock and control the sliding car. And it's at this point you have to keep your foot in, because if you take your foot off the accelerator pedal, the design of the gravel traps is such that it's supposed to almost suck the car in and stop it from moving. So you've really got to try hard to dig it out of the gravel, and in the space of about 2 laps, we've seen both Max Mugelli and Henri Hassid manage to get the cars out of the gravel.
Yeah, indeed. And I think it's just the rain which changes the traction on those curbs. We saw it yesterday in one of the features how...
Oh, sorry. Just a moment there for Michael Verhagen, who is under investigation for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. He got on the paint, and again it was a scary moment for him, but he managed to hold on to the car.
Yeah, it is this painted, the painted lines and the curbs, which are now, with the rubber that's on them, is extra slippery in these conditions.
Now, Quinn Wiedersbach, who has held this privileged position of P2 for some time, is really coming under pressure from Vincenzo Scarpetta in the car right behind there. You can see now Luigi Coluccio and Jasin Ferati have managed to get by the Michael Verhagen car. So now it becomes a 5-way fight, if you like, as all Trofeo Pirelli cars are together, and we will see how they can do.
Yeah, indeed. It's the top 5 Pirelli drivers who have now edged the next 7 drivers out, M drivers, and that means there are no interclass battles anymore on the table. It's all intra-class. Everybody who is chasing each other is now battling for positions and points within class. Felix Hörsiger, he's now 4 points to the good, but behind him it's Wiedersbach and Scarpetta, P2 and P3 for podium in Pirelli, as we get the information that indeed Michael Verhagen, our leader in the AMS, has been adjudged to have left the track and gained an advantage, and that carries with it a 5-second penalty, and that will change the face and the order in the AMS.
And of course it plays right into the hands of Marco Zanassi, does it not, Nico? Marco Zanassi, who set the fastest lap, who's running P2 on track, but as you can see, confirmation of that time penalty for the number 33 car for gaining an advantage. Marco Zanassi hasn't got to work too hard in terms of overtaking, Nico, because the team surely will provide the information to Marco Zanassi and say, oh, hold fire, friend. As long as you keep within 5 seconds, you're going to have the race lead here.
Indeed, and there is 2 seconds behind him is Herbert Guys, so Marco Zanassi under no immediate threat from Herbert Guys in terms of having to get up the road.
However, it just proves I know nothing of what I'm saying, because Marco Zanassi is still trying to overtake Mikael Verhagen like there is no tomorrow.
Well, I think Marco Zanassi will also have a look at this and think, well, you know, Verhagen also doesn't have too much of a reason to defend, so if I get alongside, maybe he'll not necessarily wave me by, but be not too steadfast in defending. So let me give it a try and then see where it takes us. Hopefully not into the gravel bed. This is the lead for the AMs on track, but it's indeed Marco Zanassi who has that almost 5-second advantage.
So Felix Herziger from Quinn Wittlisbach and Vincenzo Scarpetta, P1, 2, 3. Luigi Coluccio, P4, Jasin Ferati, P5. But we're watching this AMS fight that's going on right now. And it is between the on-track leader, Mikael Verhagen, and I say on track with the emphasis on track, because he has got a time penalty, and then Marco Zanassi. Really impressed with the defending from Luigi Coluccio here. Two really talented young drivers together here, Luigi Coluccio and Jasin Ferati, and the gap between them has been seesawing over the last few laps. As Jasin Ferati, who you can see is the last one of those cars running in P5 at the moment, driving for the Emil Frey organization, trying to take it to Luigi Coluccio, but has not been able to do so yet.
Felix Herziger, he is in front of this pack, 6 seconds to the good, and then it's the drivers that we can see here. And Wittlisbach, Scarpetta and Luigi Coluccio all have 2 track limit warnings. Jasin Ferati has 1, so they, with 17 minutes and 45 seconds, they really have to be careful as to not overstress A, the tires, and B, their allegiance with the track limits, because that can come back to haunt them.
Look at the progress being made, the progress chart. Up 4 places, Quinn Wittlisbach. Up 4 places, Herbert Guys. Up 6 places, Andrew Morrow. We saw 1 or 2 really brilliant overtakes from Andrew Morrow right at the start of the race, didn't we? And he certainly moved up 6 places. So he's the biggest mover of them all, I would say, as we follow Marco Zanassi then as he continues. Let's go inside the garage then. And Marco Zanassi, as you say, Nico, there was no point in Mikael Verhagen being too steadfast in terms of his defence, and I don't think he was. And I think that has allowed Marco Zanassi to go through. But guys, is not so far behind them either. So the fight is on in Trofeo Pirelli Am at the moment, as Marco Zanassi leads, as he always did, because of the time penalty, but now he leads on track as well. And now he's got past, you can see him really getting up the road. Just a word of warning for Vincenzo Scarpetta, Nico, who's just received his final warning about track limits in turn 15.
Dicey. Henrik Viol, he is edging closer and closer to Herbert Guys. We saw him in the background of that Zanassi Verhagen battle. So this is going to be something that needs to be taken into account for Herbert Guys. He will try to get on terms with Verhagen. Easier said than done, but he has to be aware of the driver behind him. And Henrik Viol, who we saw earlier in our pre-race piece, is certainly one to reckon with.
Up to the inside of Quinn Wittlisbach, almost, but not quite. So Vincenzo Scarpetta doing everything he can right now. There's Luigi Coluccio, who's defending from Jasin Ferati, but these 4 drivers then. Felix Herziger, may I say, is rubbing his hands with invisible soap, because the more these 4 are fighting over P2, because it is a 4-way fight for P2, Felix is just able to escape up the road, isn't he, by very nearly 8 seconds, I think.
Yeah, absolutely, and gains more than a second per lap currently, helped by the fact that they are battling, but safe for a safety car, a major problem. He looks like he's way up the road, and there in the background you can see the AMs. Zanassi was really pulled away, but there is Henrik Viol, who's now for the first time taking a look at Herbert Guys.
Absolutely, as you said, from one of the previous shots, you could see how much closer he was getting. The Scuderia Prague driver was on the podium yesterday. We know how good he is. He was in the fight for the championship last year and just lost out to Klaus Sebranson, so he would like to do everything he can to secure that championship, not only for himself but also for the team this year. Herbert Guys losing the back end of the car a little bit. That allows Henrik Viol to get a little bit closer. So there's Herbert Guys. There is Henrik Viol. Fascinating race developing here. We're at about the halfway stage with our Trofeo Pirelli and Trofeo Pirelli Am drivers here live from Misano. And Felix Herziger, who's leading the race overall by something like 8 and a bit seconds. In fact, he just pulled into a lay-by to check his emails, I believe. So advanced has he been able to make his progress by dint of those behind that we're watching right now. Quinn Wittelsbach, Vincenzo Scarpetta, Luigi Coluccio and Jasin Ferati. 4 ways that this could go for P2. Each and every one of these 4 drivers in this little gaggle or pack, whichever you prefer, have got the ability and the pace to be able to take that P2 place. Right, where's Hendrik Viol going to spot Herbert Geis? Herbert Geis, who is coached by a Harold Prochik. Harold Prochik, no bad driver himself, and he, of course, will be encouraging Herbert Geis to make that car as wide as possible and resist the ravages of the car right behind him of Hendrik Viol. Let's go back to this battle in Trofeo Pirelli. Cars with the red strips across the top of the windscreen. Felix Herziger up the road, but this battle is for P2 between Quinn Wittelsbach, Vincenzo Scarpetta, Luigi Coluccio and Jasin Ferati, and I think you have news that could impact this fight, Nico.
Indeed, and Scarpetta just picked up a 5-second penalty because of track limits. So we saw and heard the final warning earlier, and now it has come 5-second penalties, and that obviously means Scarpetta is out of this battle for P3 for the moment at least, and Luigi Coluccio not on track, but in reality is running in P3, so Coluccio-Ferati battle is actually now for a podium position.
As Luigi took a look at the inside there, confirmation of that penalty on screen for you. So it's all of a sudden ever more important for Luigi Coluccio and defending against Jasin Ferati, because it is for the final podium place. So Zanassi, Verhagen, Guy is the top 3 on track, but Mikael Verhagen with a 5-second time penalty, and that means it's Zanassi, Guys and Viol in the AM drivers. Luigi Coluccio diving to the inside. That was a late move. Has that opened the door for Jasin Ferati, who gets run alongside Luigi Coluccio? I have to say that was a slam dunk and one of those situations where, by going for an attack, you leave yourself vulnerable. Luigi Coluccio trying to come back at Jasin Ferati. Jasin just kept his cool, allowed him to try and make that overtake, could see it was going to fail, and he was there just to be able to take advantage of it, Nico.
Yeah, absolutely. You perfectly analyzed that, and now the order has changed, and as we said, Jasin Ferati running P4 on the track actually means he is running in a podium position now. Let's not forget Felix Herziger. He's 10 seconds to the good of this battle, so we don't see him a lot, but he's actually leading the race.
He's going through his deleted emails now because he has that much time. Felix Herziger, what a brilliant weekend he is having here in the Misano World Circuit. And Jasin Ferati, now he's been released from the cork in the bottle, which was Luigi Coluccio seemingly. He is up the road like a stabbed thing. I mean, going so quickly. Hendrik Viol has still not been able to dispatch Herbert Geis, which is all credit to Herbert Geis in his brilliant driving. Goodness me, so much going on as there Hendrik takes a slightly unorthodox route by taking as much of the curb as he is deemed allowed to do. It didn't pay off. Let's run the telemetry on the Hendrik Viol car now as he accelerates out of turn 16 up to 180, make that 90, make that 217 kilometers per hour before a little dab of the brakes going into the chicane as the Hendrik Viol car continues in this P4 position on track, but P3 in reality because of time penalty for Mikael Verhagen. And talking of time penalties, Hannes Laskowski has just picked up one as well, and he's running down there P7, I think, in the AM drivers.
Absolutely, and there's Hendrik Viol, who needs to be patient. Obviously, points important. He would love to get past Herbert Geis and probably would like to do it in a similar way as Jasin Ferati did. You know, just picking up the pieces. And, well, credit to our race leader. He's running on his own, so we don't see him a lot. But here he is, Felix Herziger, way up the order, up to 11 seconds.
That's extraordinary, isn't it? What a fantastic time he is having of it here in Misano. Jasin Ferati, look. As I say, once he got past Luigi Coluccio, you could see the pace that Jasin Ferati had. Now, Jasin Ferati, it looks like this is for P3 on track. Of course, Vincenzo Scarpetta has got that time penalty. You can see that, the graphics on the left-hand side of your screen. You see the little red bar right at the end. That indicates a time penalty, and that's been picked up for track limits. So it is Jasin Ferati P2. What Jasin wants to do now, within the 9 minutes plus 1 lap remaining, he wants to get past Scarpetta, who is preventing him getting on terms with Quinn Wittlisbach, which is where Jasin wants to be.
Yes, absolutely. We had a 1-2-3 for Switzerland yesterday.
We did.
And with Scarpetta out of the picture, it looks like it could be a repeat of that.
Yes, we'll see. We'll see. We've got 8.5 minutes plus 1 lap. For the Pirelli drivers then, it is Herziger, Wittlisbach, Scarpetta on track, but it is actually Ferrati that is P3. And for our AM drivers, Sanassi, Verhagen and Guys, but Verhagen with a time penalty, which brings Hendrik Viol into the mix.
Yeah, and there was Ferrati, and he was almost alongside. He's now on the outside.
Not all the way around the outside.
If he can keep it alongside, he will have a good chance, but I think that's too much to ask there. But he has got a lot of momentum, so this is a long straight.
He's got a lot of momentum and a lot of bravery as well, Nico, for trying to hang it around the outside there. Brilliant stuff from the talented young Jasin Ferati. Great driving from both of them, respectful. And they are pushing for all they're worth. And of course, this is allowing Luigi Coluccio to get back into it.
Yeah, definitely. Coluccio obviously would like to get that position back and get onto the virtual podium.
Yeah.
But thus far, he's not been able to really take it to Ferrati to slow him down. So Ferrati is mounting the pressure on Scarpetta again alongside, but on the outside going into the next turn. Can he keep it alongside? That would give him the inside on the chicane. He's trying.
He was squeezed a little bit, wasn't he?
Yeah, not quite alongside enough. But with 7 minutes and 10 seconds remaining, this is going to go down to the wire. There's Coluccio.
Dive to the inside. And I'll tell you what, fair play. I mean,
roles reversed. It was a similar
reversed.
spot on the track, if not exactly the same. And Coluccio, thank you very much, Jasin. I saw what you did. Do that again.
It was a photocopy, wasn't it? So now Ferrati has got to try and do it all over again. And of course, it's played nicely into the hands of Vincenzo Scarpetta, which is actually academic because of his time penalty, but nonetheless. Hendrik Viol has got past Herbert Guys. Well, so there you can see, and Herbert Guys coming back at Hendrik Viol right now. So where on the track did that happen? I'm sure we'll get a replay of that. Hendrik Viol going past Herbert Guys, and that is for P2 in the Trofeo Pirelli Am race. It is Marco Zanassi from Hendrik Viol and Herbert Guys right now. And who is that, Nico?
Looks like it's Gilles Renman, who's just shown us in the pits. Now has come out again, but didn't look proper
No.
the way he came out of the pits. So we'll keep an eye on that, whatever happened there. But yeah, Hendrik Viol, he has overtaken Herbert Guys on the track, putting him in P3.
Here it is. Let's see this overtake. So tracking, taking a look. Is he going to sell him a dummy? No, he's not. Well, fair play to Herbert Guys, who left him racing room as well, because he's gone through. Hendrik Viol, we were on board with him, and he gets past Herbert Guys. And the Scuderia Prague team were, I suspect, very, very happy about that. You can see the nerves and anxiety inside the garage, can't you?
Yeah, and it was close between the two of them.
Yes, it was, but fair.
Yeah, absolutely. We have double yellow, as you can see, at the end of the chicane. That has to be for the Gilles Renman car.
I agree.
We do have a safety car being called for.
Oh, that could change things with merely 5 minutes plus 1 lap still to go.
Yeah, well, recovery teams didn't have too much work here, it has to be said.
No.
For the most part, and they've been quick about what they had to do.
Be quick about it.
There is Gilles Renman on
to
board.
abandon the car.
Yeah, whatever. There was something that must have ailed the car, and he decided to come out again, but wasn't able to continue. So unfortunate for him, bad luck. But where the car is, no doubt it has to be recovered.
And with merely 4.5 minutes plus 1 lap, we could get a 1 lap dash for cash, couldn't we? But it depends how quick the recovery operation is.
Yeah, well, we look forward to whatever happens. And obviously we like to see the race finish under race conditions. Safety obviously always of paramount importance in the Ferrari Challenge. And so race control will decide whatever is possible. There is the safety car, and there was the car, and there was the driver of said car that unfortunately beached on the side of the road.
Yes, it is. So the recovery team will attend to that straight away. Felix Herziger, you have to feel for him, Nico. He had built up such a margin. And of course, when the safety car comes out, there are always winners and losers. And Felix is undoubtedly big loser with the safety car period, depending, you know, if we stay behind the safety car until the race end, then it's kind of academic. But if we do go back to racing, the likes of Quinn Wittlisbach, Luigi Coluccio, and Jasin Ferati are going to think, here we go.
Yeah, other losers, obviously everybody who has a penalty, because all the gaps have dissipated, and that means everybody's bunched up, and therefore 5 seconds, which might have been 1 or 2 positions, can all of a sudden turn into 4 or 5.
Yes.
So there is no adjustment of penalty if you finish under the safety car.
No.
Fair or not, that's how it is. 3 minutes remaining plus that 1 lap. I guess more than 1 lap at the end is not going to be possible. Let's see what happens. They're currently in the 2nd sector. Safety car would have to indicate that it's coming back in once they reach this point on the track next time around.
Yeah. We'll keep our eyes and ears on everything. I bet you a cup of fine cappuccino that we will get 1 lap.
I won't hold that bad. I'm with you on that, and I hope that we will get more racing.
But you and I both know a lot can happen in a lap, particularly when you've got 20 cars bunched up together.
Absolutely. So 2 minutes, 15 seconds. Can't quite make out the point where the Jill Renman car is stuck from our point of view here.
I'm just looking to see if I can ascertain on our GPS map that we have in our studio, and I can't. So I won't. Felix Herziger, Quinn Wittlisbach, Vincenzo Scarpetta on track, but Luigi Coluccio in real terms. The top 3 for Pirelli. For Pirelli and Marco Zanassi. Then Mikael Verhagen, but he's got a time penalty to come, so it's Hendrik Viol and Herbert Guys. They are the top 3. Great shot from our drone here. You can see the technical nature of this Misano circuit. Right. All eyes on our timing screen, which tell us now, and we're bringing you this information advanced, safety car will come in this lap. There it is. It appears on the screen. Just as we saw it. Now, from a timing perspective, Nico, it's going to be the +1 lap, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even on a race pace, this would not be enough to cross the timing line before the clock has hit quadruple zero. So it's going to elapse on this lap. The safety car will come in, and it's going to be the +1 lap, the 1 lap dash for glory. Felix Herziger, he built that gap. He didn't have to overstress his tires, which is an advantage. He doesn't have any track limit warnings, which is also an advantage. But he has to still pedal it and defend for that 1 lap.
What Quinn Wittlisbach has got to do is try and anticipate when Felix Herziger is going to give it everything. And that's really, really difficult. I talk to racing drivers all the time. They say the sense of trying to anticipate when someone is going to restart is very, very difficult. Once Felix Herziger accelerates, he has to stay accelerated. What you're not allowed to do is go fast, slow, fast, slow, fast, slow, and try and back them all up. You have to go slow and then bosh. When you go for it, stay gone for it, so to speak.
Safety car, as you can see, has pulled away to give Felix Herziger the ability to maneuver and some flexibility as to when he goes. He hasn't yet, but there you can see
some go early, some go late, don't they? And many drivers have different... he's gone now. as every other car accelerates at the same time. I would suggest Felix Herziger has done that really rather well, Nico.
Yeah, absolutely. Quinn Wiedlisbach under pressure from Scarpetta, who has that penalty. So for the time being, all is clear. Hendrik Viol also has gapped Herbert Geis a little bit. And with Sanasi in front of Verhagen, who also has a penalty. No immediate threat for changes of position that would matter in the standings, but Scarpetta doesn't care about that.
No,
he still wants to be P2 on the track.
Oh, and he dives to the inside of Quinn Wiedlisbach. Let him go, let him go. But what that does is that throws down the gauntlet to both Jasin Ferati and also Luigi Coluccio, Nico. As all of a sudden, for the final lap in this Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli Am race, all bets are off because Jasin Ferati just showing his face to the inside of Luigi Coluccio. Hendrik Viol, of course, will be thinking this is a great opportunity for me. Potentially, Herbert Geis will feel the same way. And Felix Herziger, then Vincenzo Scarpetta. I mean, Scarpetta has got extraordinary pace, Nico.
Yeah, definitely. If not for that penalty, we would be thinking about a race win potentially. Not in the cards for him, unfortunately, by his opinion, I'm sure. Felix Herziger will have a different mindset on that as he approaches the stadium section for the final time.
Wow, and there you can see right behind Quinn Wiedlisbach holding on to his position from Luigi Coluccio. Vincenzo Scarpetta still really chasing down the car of Felix Herziger. There is one turn to be done before the race is won as Felix Herziger heads towards the checkered flag and makes it 2 out of 2 this weekend. Ahead of Quinn Wiedlisbach and Luigi Coluccio takes P3. Now for our AM drivers, it's Marco Sanassi that wins from Hendrik Viol ahead of Herbert Geis. Whoa, that was dramatic right towards the end. It could have gone any which way but loose.
Absolutely, Felix Herziger will have a deep breath. Quinn Wiedlisbach makes it 2 podiums out of 2 races. Very, very respectable for the young driver. Luigi Coluccio gets P3 back from Jasin Ferati.
He'll be very happy about that, won't he? Because it looked like it was all going south for Luigi right at the start of the race.
Yeah, absolutely. And Marco Zanazzi with his huge fan club and crowd, and there we pick him up, makes it 2 out of 2 in the AMs, and that will do wonders for his championship points.
You're right.
Was way down the order coming from Monza to Misano. He's rectified that, and Verhagen with the penalty all the way down in P7 in class. He's our championship leader in the AMs, or at least was coming to this race, so everybody bunches back up, which is good for us as neutral spectators.
Of course. Of course. So P3 for Herbert Geis then for the AM drivers, and big shout out, incidentally, to the Charles Hurst driver, Andrew Morin, made it up to P4 in the AMs. Here's confirmation of the classification then. Felix Herziger from Quinn Wiedlisbach and Luigi Coluccio. They are the top 3 in the Pirelli drivers. For the AM drivers, it is Marco Zanassi, Hendrik Viol and Herbert Geis. And there's Andrew Morin, now finished P9, Nico, in the race overall, but it was P4 in the AMs and the rest of the order that you can see on screen in graphics. Well, it was. It could have been altogether a bit more dramatic on that final lap. Credit to all the drivers for keeping their heads when it would have been very easy to lose them.
Yeah, indeed. And credit to Scarpetta, who really, really battled and at least really tried to get up the order. Now, there was no real chance to edge 5 seconds of a gap out, but he did his best.
Now, Scarpetta, as you can see, there's a bit of a muddle up going on now because Scarpetta has gone into the has parked up, hasn't he? But in the meantime, there's Marco Zanassi. Well done to Marco Zanassi for winning in Trofeo Pirelli Am. As you rightly said, he's got a lot of guests and people here to enjoy his racing, and he's given them 2 out of 2. And there's Felix Herziger, Quinn Wiedlisbach, and Luigi Coluccio. You can see center screen right now for Rosso Corsa taking P3. And he'll be quietly satisfied with that, I would suggest. There's Quinn for Emil Frey Racing. super bravo, which means well done.
Oh,
In case you needed reminding of that.
well, there is Felix Hörsiger, who's kind of been deprived of his position at the number 1 board, but I don't think he will care all that much. He got what he came here for, and got it twice, P1.
He's done a brilliant job this weekend, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think he will be our new championship leader in Pirelli.
I think your calculations will be right.
We'll find the confirmation on that in graphics, or disconfirmation, if that's such a word.
No, I'm not sure it is.
No, I'm not sure either. But yeah, great race here. Next time we'll be on the track with Pirelli. We'll be in Hockenheim.
Which is very different again to Misano, isn't it? I mean, we've had 3 really quite unique tracks to start our season. You know, the Temple of Speed at Monza. Then here in, oh, look at the congratulations. And here in Misano, and as you say, up next into Hockenheim, another track steeped in history.
Yeah, no question about that.
Oh my God!
Well done. I spoke to him at breakfast this morning, Felix. I said, the emotions we saw on the podium yesterday, real? He said, oh, for sure, absolutely, Dave. So, suspect we might see some more of those today, Nico. We will see. So you can see the podium above the pit lane here and above Parfumé, which is where the drivers will be heading in due course, just as soon as they can. We will hear from both our drivers, the winner in Trofeo Pirelli and also the winner in Trofeo Pirelli, of course. So as you can see, winner interview coming up, and the first that we will be hearing from will be Felix Hörsiger, who drives for the Ineco Reparto Corsa Ram team, who have had a jolly good time of it today so far. And that's the car. I love the colour scheme that has been adopted by the driver and team on that number 30 car, and that's something I'm going to ask Felix about when I next sit down and have a cup of tea with him. Okay, he's with Ludovica right now because it is time for the Trofeo Pirelli winner interview.
Wow, Felix, congratulations. You conquered Misano circuit to win in a different condition. Today you made a 2 perfect start. Can you tell us more about your race?
Yeah, again, a perfect start. Very happy. That made it a lot easier. However, in the start, it was very difficult to find out where to brake and where the grip was, because we had rain on the windscreen. So I was like, that's a bit dangerous. So I just took it safe, took my time, and then when I started to feel comfortable, I just kept inputting the lap times. And yeah, for me, it's incredible to have 2 wins now after Monza, which was a heartbreaking weekend. To have everybody at home watching, David, you too, my girlfriend as well, and it's just incredible. And for me, couldn't have asked for more.
Thank you for your time and congratulations again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well done, Felix Hörsiger, then. Brilliant job done. As he says, it was a heartbreaking weekend for him in Monza. So this is, and I know I say it so many times, motor racing can be beautiful. It can also be very brutal, and you've got to pick yourself up from it as well. So he's done that, and he's done it in the best possible style by making it 2 out of 2 here in Misano. Another driver that makes it 2 out of 2 is Marco Zanassi, and he is with Ludovica right now.
Marco, congratulations to pole position and to win here in Misano. You built a perfect weekend with your coach Andrea Bellicchi that in this race push you for a perfect result.
Exactly. I mean, it's an unbelievable weekend. I mean, as you said, 2 pole and 2 victory, it's incredible. I mean, it was not really easy. Then the safety car really destroyed our plan at the end, because Andrea exactly told me keep the tire warm and whatever. I didn't, so I struggled a little bit at the end. So at least, I mean, we won, so I'm really happy.
Thank you for your time. Congratulations.
Thank you to you. Ciao.
Oh, Marco, thank you so much for your honesty. You told me to keep the tyre warm, which I didn't. Nice. Okay, race 2, Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli then. from the get-go was always going to be an exciting race. Pirelli drivers, Pirelli Am drivers, and right at the start, my goodness me, so many cars side by side, some going onto the grass, some keeping it on the tarmac, and of course the anxiety was just as great inside the garages. Andrew Morrow making up a number of places and almost on the back of Hendrik Viola at that particular point. And there you could see that anxiety continued on the pit wall as well. And how did Max Mugelli keep it out of the back of Herbert Guys? He did, and he did well to get it out of the gravel trap as well. And the tricky conditions playing havoc for Henri Acide as well. Jasin Ferati was one of the drivers that was very much in the mix, but the mix here with Henri Acide and the number 44 car as they made contact there, that was Nobuhiro Imada, but Gilles Renmans with all sorts of strife. But I mentioned Jasin Ferati and Luigi Coluccio. They'd swapped places, and then very physically, in fact, a duplicate of what Jasin Ferati had done, he got by Luigi Coluccio again. And with a stricken car and the safety car out, meaning a one-lap dash right to the checkered flag, it would be Felix Herziger that would win for the Pirelli drivers, and it would be Marco Zanassi that would win for the Am drivers. Another superb Pirelli and Pirelli Am race here at the Misano World Circuit. Marco Simoncelli. Celebrations were pretty loud. So there are the race statistics then. Best progress, Andrew Morrow for the Am drivers and Quinn Wiedlisbach for the Trofeo Pirelli drivers. There were 26 overtakes in Pirelli Am and 4 overtakes in Pirelli. That's the way it looked then with the statistics. We await the voice of Michele Mambelli to bring our drivers out. Double podium, of course. We'll have the Pirelli podium first of all, and then it will be the Pirelli Am podium. Here comes Luigi Coluccio to take P3. Quinn Wiedlisbach is on P2. And on the top step of the podium, it's Felix Herziger. He now just realised how tall he is. So the anthem plays out for our race winner then, Felix Herziger. Right now it's trophy presentation times. Here comes Niklas Nielsen, Ferrari factory driver, to make the trophy presentations. First of all to Luigi Coluccio for taking P3. Quinn Wiedlisbach for P2. And then on the top step of the podium, Felix Herziger. And of course, the Ineco Riparto Corsa Ram team will be in receipt of the team's trophy, and then Pirelli as well. Always double bubble trophies in Pirelli and Pirelli Am, with the Pirelli trophies, which are lovely also. They are to be awarded and get awarded. Everyone together as photographs are going to be taken. Please lift your trophy. Okay. Trophies lifted high, big smiles all round. Nice photographs taken. There is last year's Trofeo Pirelli champion looking on, Giacomo Altoe, of course, very much involved in the ML Ferrari racing team. Wiedlisbach was the best and the fastest with the champagne, and takes a fair old slug of it as well. Greedy. It's probably a titled Nico, isn't he?
This youth. Too much energy.
Yes,
too much
energy. He slugged that back, I can tell you. Right. It was P2 for Quinn Wiedlisbach, who champagne guzzling like a bilge pump. But it was Felix Herziger for Ineco Reporter Casa Ram team that took the win. Of course, we have got our Pirelli Am podium to come still. They'll have cleaned up the podium right now, and let's just take a look at the Drivers' Championship. It's Jasin Ferati leading from Felix Herziger and Quinn Wiedlersbach, Vincenzo Scarpetta, then Gilles Renman, Björn Grossman, Luigi Coluccio, and Max Mugelli. They are Trofeo Pirelli. Of course, Dylan Medler. Shouldn't forget Dylan, who, as we speak, is racing in the North American Ferrari Challenge in Daytona.